Very good morning to you, Desiree, and good morning to our viewers at home. We are awaiting, we understand that the President is expected to touch down here in Durban at around 10 o'clock this morning. And his first stop is going to be here in Mayville. This is where we are, the Mayville Public Works offices. And here, the provincial government is going to be taking him through the programs that the government has put in place in its response to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's going to be a short presentation where he's going to be given an overview of where we are in the province in terms of the facilities that the province has already, where the challenges are, but also the president arriving at a time where this morning the KwaZulu-Natal Health Department issuing a statement saying that they have closed down the first public hospital in the area of KwaDukuza, and that is the Kizenga Mpanza Hospital, formerly known as KwaDukuza, as the Stanger Hospital, and that was after 16, which included patients and 4 doctors and a nurse have tested positive for the coronavirus at that hospital. We understand that currently there are about 219 patients that are at the hospital. The hospital has now been closed down, and from today they are not going to be accepting any new patients. All those that are currently inside are going to be tested from today, and that hospital has now been converted into a quarantine site. And so this is breaking news from KwaZulu-Natal. The first public hospital here in the province has been shut down. Of course, there are 2 other hospitals. We remember St. Augustine's, which is a private hospital, as well as Kingsway, and that was after a high number of medical workers from those hospitals. About 77 nurses, we are told, had tested positive in both those hospitals. And so the president, of course, is going to be given the status of where we are in terms of that. There has been quite a great deal of concern with regard to the numbers of the medical workers that have been infected here in various hospitals in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. But this is the first public hospital that is being closed down. Of course, here in Mayville, it falls under the eThekwini Metro, and as we know that this metro remains the epicenter of the pandemic here in KwaZulu-Natal, it's still a great deal of concern for the government, particularly the health department, as daily they are recording at least 10 cases here in this metro. In fact, the government was very much concerned that at some point there was even uncertainty as to whether or not the eThekwini Metro would have downgraded to level 4, and it was only a couple of days before the country was supposed to move to level 4 that the government then saying that they were going to allow the eThekwini Metro to move to level 4, but under very strict measures. And also saying that, importantly, they're going to ramp up the screening and testing. Here in the province, over 1 million people have already been screened, and they're running about 11,000 tests. 11,000 tests have been done. We are told on average about 2,000 tests are being done a day. Government has also received a boost that has come from the private sector, with about 10 new testing vehicles that will be focusing here on the eThekwini Metro. Of course, after the president is done here, having received the briefing, he's then going to be moving to KwaMashu, to the Pixie Kasema Hospital. That is a hospital that has been under construction for quite some time. In fact, it's one of the questions that we've been asking the health department as to why that hospital has not been opened and used as a facility. And they said that it was taking time in terms of finishing the construction, but that is now said they're working 24 hours now to ensure that they finish the construction of that hospital, and so that they can use that as a quarantine site. And that is one of the areas that the president is going to be visiting. You will then move to Pietermaritzburg, to the Royal Showgrounds, which has also now been designated as a quarantine facility. And we remember, of course, that South Africa's first COVID-19 case came from that district of a 30-year-old man who lived in Hilton, just outside Pietermaritzburg. But I must say, Desiree, that if you look at the statistics and the numbers that have been coming through, although the first case had been reported or came from Pietermaritzburg, but that district has been doing relatively well in terms of the numbers. It's one of the lowest numbers that we have here in the province. eThekwini has alarming figures, followed by Ilembe district, of which the hospital, the KZN hospital that has now been closed, falls under that district. So that is going to be the President's program at Desiree for today.
Ayanda, thank you so much for setting the scene for us there. Of course, we will go through as soon as the President arrives in